coil brake line. Straightened out, more or less. Close enough for government work anyway. And the old brake line. Whoa, 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 whoa. So hopefully my new brake line won't make that noise, but gonna put some bends in it. And none of these look very difficult. So the little whoop-de-doo, that's gonna have to be custom anyway. That's, you know, a little bit of a spring, I guess, between the frame and the proportioning valve in case the frame flexes. So yeah. Sorry that took so long. Yeah, it took like 20 minutes. So I'll get you lined up. Lined up. I mean, and then my line bends up, but this wants to sit differently than this does because it's got a bunch of extra. So this line isn't that much longer. I've got this. And these bends can't really happen until after I get it into the engine compartment, because those turns aren't going to go through like going up along the firewall. Because that's how I got this out. I cut it and then pulled it through the bracket that I couldn't unbolt. So there's that. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of extra on each end, but that's okay. So now, I guess fitting into the car and seeing where I can make my first cuts to get this down to size. And then maybe do some other stuff before I put the fittings on and flare the ends. So I want to do a couple cuts just to make sure I've got it right. All right. Old line. New line. There we go. So I just do a line from here down there, and that's great. No, that's just all extra. That's going to get all bent and swizzled and into the proportioning valve. And all the rest of it is all wire tied under there. I'm about that far over how far I have to be that way. So now it's going to be final cut and flare down there, and then button it all up down here. And then figure out how this goes, because this has to be all bent and needs to come to the bottom of here. So somehow doing that. So, and maybe not being too ugly at it, but we'll see. All right, so the brake lines are run. Here's the rear line. Goes all. Make sure you drop wrenches into the works. Yes. So that goes around. So basically, long and short, we're plumbed. Well, that's the short. So now I've got some vacuum line that I'm going to attach to my check valve. Vacuum check valve goes from here to somewhere on here. So Anthony said that there should be a let me see if I can turn the light on here. Ting! Ah! Wow. So there should be a port somewhere in here that I would just unplug. There is this that had something to do with the thing that came from this thing. So I'm believing that that's my vacuum line down there. It's below the throttle plate, so that's where I want my manifold vacuum drawn from. Although it does seem kind of silly, so I blocked it off with that. It seemed to be adequate. Seems to be silly to go from this diameter down to, you know, looks like 1/8 inch outside diameter. So I don't know, but I know that's vacuum. The other end of that T, that line goes to the distributor. So then there's this, I forget what that's for, and there's that, and I forget what that's for. But these are above the throttle plate. I think that also has something to do with the emissions thing that was on here. But anyway. Brakes are done. I should fill the fluid and do all the bleeding and stuff, but I'm going to wait till I have somebody to help me bleed.